Electronic music tutorial. It's episode 146 and I keep on making music. Oh no, wait, this time I'm not actually making music. I will master a track with you guys. I did a few episodes of that. You guys had a lot of interest. I think it's a very interesting topic to approach. A lot of you guys master their own music. Some you might use also an external service. I've done that before. It's like basically I use an external service and then I actually remaster the track onto my own. So the external service provided a certain balance, like it was great, but it didn't have my personality of my mastering on it, so you can do that too. And this mastering chain will be also available, of course, as it is a series, a part of our series, gonna be available for only $5. So you get this tutorial, so you're gonna understand a little bit more of what I do with the sound, with the sound stage, the gaining, the compression, the limiting. I have multiple stages that I use to do mastering. I learned a lot of it from Robert Babbage, some other mastering engineer, Bob Owinski, and it's been a long time to produce music. If you didn't know, it's been 20 years. It's been about 15 years that I research mastering, that I want to do so. And I created this mastering chain that I keep on updating. And actually, today I will use for the first time the Logic Pro X equalizer. So they did replicas of equalizers that are the APIs that are, I think one of them is actually based on the EMI, so the one that is at Abbey Road, and it's what I'm going to use to start the change. First I'm going to do some gain and then I will do that. So let's get started, guys. What I am mastering today is a deep progressive track that I compose, arrange and mix into those episodes. So it's actually episode 135 is where I arrange this track and I mix it. So as you can see here, I have a lot of headroom for everything, so I'm going to listen to it with you guys just a little bit. I'm going to skip through. So there's a lot of room in this track, and what I want to do is not to boost everything to be extremely loud, because it's definitely not an EDM track. It's a more instrumental, deep progressive. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to try to get some gain a little bit on it by using the auto gain that is here. I'm going to turn it on. I'm going to go in a loud part, hopefully. See, and then you click here, auto gain. So it's gonna, and I'm probably gonna do it a few times before, like during the episode. See, it clipped again. So every time you clip, you can click here, lower it, so you will have the maximum signal at the peak. So at the peak, they're gonna peak at 0, but then you still have some headroom. But I mean, I have 5 dB of gain right here. So when I'm gonna send it to the next plugin, which actually normally is this one, which I will now switch for the Apple EQ. So EQ Vintage Collection, this is new. I don't know, I don't read the update when they update Apple, and there's a really nice setting that's called Enhanced Mix, which I really like. I think it I'm gonna give myself a bit of volume. I think it softened the mix a little bit, but the presence is really there. There's really something. So let's listen to it without. Oh yeah. Very nice presence in the mid-low. There's a little bit of like this touch, this analog touch in there. If you guys know what this EQ is, please write it below. It's a replica of something that I don't know. I was thinking about using something else actually earlier, but now that I put this one on. So I use a lot of replicas of analog gear to master my track. Like this Rec EQ is actually a Renaissance EQ, so no, like a replica of an old EQ, but you know, with today's kind of parameters. Then I'm gonna go into an L2 just to shave the top. So if I have some peaks in the track, I will shave them here with this L2. See, I can really, I don't want to bring necessarily the volume up, but I just want to just shave the peaks, I should say. So so I'm just raising the volume a little bit, nothing extraordinary. You can see it here. We started at minus 25 LUFS and we're already at minus 12. So there's definitely some gaining happening. Then I have a wonderful LINMB multiband processor here. So I'm gonna take a part of the track that has most of the element that I can take as a reference to adjust. So we can either do a master threshold here or do threshold for the different channels. So here I think the bass. And I can peak. If I want more kick, I want a bit less kick. This is like a adaptive multi-electro, so it's a really fast release, it's a really fast attack. I have a second one that I will use a little bit later to really even everything out. And again, I have like auto trim here, so I can trim if needed. So if I have some room, I will use it because I want everything to be as loud as possible. Sadly and greatly, I mean, this is when you need to be competitive. It's still gonna be clean, not pushed. Then I have the API 2500 Legendary. What I like about this compressor is the smoothness. It just tighten everything up. I really like this feel. It's really high quality without. It just put the bass into place. I don't know if you guys can hear it. I can hear it because it's my track obviously. But without, to me the bass is there, but it does lack a little bit of definition and thickness, and when I put it on, it just contains it. It's just like put it in a nice like envelope that's just perfect. Same thing with the kick. Like I said, I use these, look, there's barely 2 dB of gain reduction. Why? Because I do not want to really affect the track a lot. I want to do minimal improvement in stage, in the rack stage, talk one, another one, another one, and one. And the processing overall will really change the track, but every element, not so much. This is one of my favorite EQs. I think it's set to boost the top or the lows. Let's listen first. I don't think I need it this time. So those are there. I do not necessarily always use them. Maybe I'm gonna try to do the top a little bit. I'm tempted to do something, so let's do it. So we're having fun a little bit with the music. So I'm gonna go again in the vintage, and this one, this used to be to me that look a lot like a EMI EQ that I've seen before. So I'm just gonna try a preset. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Hot and bright. Let's see if it's gonna cut it. No, it's too much. So you see, if you had some signal processing with already some character, you cannot just add so much in a row because it just doesn't work. Center, very important here. Work with the stereo field, can hear it right away. Can even push it. So with this, I'm actually able to get more volume, or at least the feeling of more volume, because I decide to send it a bit more to the side and the center, and then after that I will compress it more. I like the bass, the way so the lows are more toward the center, not completely in the center, but toward the center. The high are more toward the side, so it gives like a spatial presence in the sides. Let's listen to a part here. You can really instantly hear I wouldn't call it division, but the width that it gives to the track. Loving this. A tape, again, I'm gonna give it a try. I like it without, because you know when I make the track I tend to make them hot, so I don't want to overdo it. Now here's a beast, SSL Comp. I'm gonna use it very lightly, again about 2 dB. So this again, this is another layer of tightening, of putting things together. If I remove it, oh yeah. So like I said, for me, it does again contain things, make things more concrete and define them where they belong. You know, this is hard to explain. You try to explain that with mathematics or whatever, but this is the feel of this compressor that is very unique again. Then I go into a second LINMB, which some people will hate me for it, but this is what I do. Why? To have again control over the frequency, and I know when they're gonna hit the speaker, they're gonna hit in the middle. It's gonna have this clean sound that's not gonna be out of phase or anything. It's gonna be, I wouldn't call it perfection, but it's really gonna be well contained. The phase is gonna be right. Without, just bring everything up. Well, in the headphone, in this case, I would use the speakers, but I can't because I need to talk to you guys. So I do know that some engineer master the breakdown separately. I think for pop music could have some merit to have some different part mastered differently and then do a final master on top. For me, it has to flow, so it has to be the same all the way through. And the very, very final step of this, let's look at the loudness, where we at if we go in the peaks here. Still at -14. We're definitely gonna bring it up now. My goal, let's do the Apple standard. I think it's -12, -9, -12. I definitely need some loudness. Why? Because I don't want this track to sound weak in comparison to others. When the DJs, let's say, browse Beatport, that doesn't really apply on iTunes. But when the DJs browse Beatport, if your track sound like it's weak because they have to crank up the volume, then you know it's a bit of a drawback. So it's there's not so much attenuation at all. What is very important to check with this is that you're not screwing up the low end. So without, so it does an excellent job in the high, the mid highs, you know, the mid lows not so much, and then the low end, it just this tend to destroy. I can give you an example. If I do this, I will pull both at the same time. You're gonna hear it at some points. There's just, so there's just no more lows, and as I go up, oh, the low reappear. Oh, now it's almost normal. So I will give it a bit more to really give the space for the track to breathe. I don't know what's happening. This doesn't work here. Oh, because the outseating was at 0. So guys, about -10, -12, I think we're good for Apple. Then we're gonna check to make sure there is no clipping anywhere in our signal. And then I'll go back to the start right here. This one would be hard to see because, well, there's no view meter. And in the digital domain, you can really easily go, depending on the plugin, but you can go 8 to 10 dB over because you do have the headroom to do so. They put a 0 fixed point just as a reference so people are not blowing up, but there's still, you know, like I said, 8 to 10 dB of gain, even knowing that at 96K, I think the dynamic range is something like 108 dB. Well, if you do it in 48, it's less. If you do it if you maybe want to master in 41,000 Hertz at 16-bit, again, the dynamic range is lower. So it's like having a room that is smaller. So this is 41, this is 48, this is 96. So you have all this room for your sound to go through. Yes, it will get compressed, but you can really capture and do much more at 96K. This is why I master at 96K, by the way. It's very important. Even knowing that we will again compress it, and compress it's gonna end up, and as an MP3 that's gonna be on YouTube, that's gonna be compressed in 56K optimal, blah blah blah. It doesn't matter, because if the source is well done, it will translate a lot better in those frequency too, if everything is full. So guys, this is it for episode 146 of the live electronic music tutorials. I hope you enjoyed those little changes. I want to do things differently because, as you see, I'm doing a lot of episodes and I want to make some content so you guys learn, you guys enjoy seeing a little bit of technique, learn a trick, listen to some music, have a good time, and of course the most important thing, guys, is may the sounds be with you.